finally sitting down and doing this Q&A. Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning back in. And before I get started with the Q&A, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who took the time to watch my story video, to leave such sweet comments and leave questions for me to answer for this video. Let's dive in. So all the questions that I got were very random. Like, they range anywhere from do you like dogs to bulking and reverse dieting advice. So I am just gonna go through all of them. I hope this video doesn't get too long. If it does, then I might just make it a two-part Q&A. What I do for cardio is basically LISS, which is low intensity steady state cardio. I basically keep the same intensity throughout the whole entire session, and I normally like to do either the elliptical or the Stairmaster. Personally, if I have a Stairmaster, I will always do the Stairmaster because I find it gets my heart rate going a lot faster, and the higher my heart rate is, the higher my calorie burn is gonna be. And if you have been a long time subscriber, then you would know that I don't focus on the time for my cardio. I focus on how many calories I burn, because the way that I track my cardio is by how many calories I burn in a week. So the higher my calorie burn during a session is, the better for me. So that's what I do for cardio right now. My goal is to burn 200 calories per session, so it takes me about 20 to 25 minutes depending on the machine that I'm using. The most frightening experience that I've had while traveling most definitely was in Cinque Terre. There was a really bad windstorm. The power went out. I couldn't keep the door shut because the wind was so strong that I just kept opening it. I had no Wi-Fi, I had no service because the wind was so bad, and I think it like took down some power lines, and I don't know, I couldn't like get a hold of reception, and I was shaking, sitting in the dark, and I thought I was gonna cry. Definitely the most scared that I've been in a long time. I do not have a boyfriend. I am 150 to 100% single, and I am happy with that. The most important thing that I would recommend to a competitor would be to make sure that you're really going into it for the right reasons. Take it day by day. Make sure you enjoy the journey, because honestly it goes by really fast. Focus on the positive aspects of your prep, how you're overcoming your struggles, how you're transforming physically, and just all the little things that come with prep. I think the most important thing is that you try to make an effort to really enjoy the journey, because it can be really hard, and if you just don't find it within you to love what you're doing, then you're not gonna make it through. So that would be the best advice I can give someone that's just getting into competing. When you prep, your caloric intake can drop very low, and if you go right back into a really high calorie intake and you don't really follow something consistently and you're just eating and eating and eating, you can put on weight really fast because your body's not used to metabolizing and using those extra calories for energy, because it's been taking in such little calories for so long, right? So that's the main purpose of reverse dieting, to give your metabolism a chance to catch up with all the extra food that you're consuming. And another thing that I find is really amazing about reverse dieting is the fact that if you do it properly, if you follow it consistently, and you put on the weight back slowly, it's also a lot easier on you mentally, because you don't see your body go from extreme to another extreme. No, you get to see your body slowly transition back into a more realistic and more healthy look, if that makes sense. And do you gain much fat during that time? Yes, you do, because that is the goal. You don't want to be stage lean all throughout your off season. Putting on some fat is going to help you make better muscle gains. Obviously, there is a limit on how much fat you should put on depending on what your goal is. For me personally, right now, I'm shooting for a 0.5 to 1 pound weight gain per week. So that's kind of how I'm going about my reverse diet, but it all depends on the individual and their goals and how they want to approach their off season. So I have dated someone who doesn't compete. He did go to the gym, but he wasn't like strict with his diet or anything. Like, he would eat basically whatever he wanted to, go to the gym when he felt like it, but it wasn't anything like what I follow. And honestly, I don't think fitness came in the way at all. I think if the person who you're with truthfully loves you and understands what you're doing and why you're doing it, then they should support you no matter what. It definitely makes it a little bit difficult, especially if you are a competitor and you're going through prep, just because there's mood swings and just times when you really don't want to be around other people. And if you haven't gone through a competition prep, it's really hard to understand it. So I think as long as both people make an effort to understand each other and communicate, then it shouldn't really be a problem, honestly. I think it's kind of good to have someone who's not in the industry, because it gives you balance in your life and it kind of keeps you grounded, and it it reminds you that there is a lot more to life than just fitness. So I definitely think it's possible. I mean, I've done it before, and I don't really think that fitness ever really came between us. Has the fitness lifestyle somehow affected some of your relationships? I would definitely say so, yeah, especially when I first got into bodybuilding and people just thought that it was something that I was doing just to do it and like for attention. There's definitely some friendships that I lost. And people who just didn't really understand why I was doing it. And I think it's almost good to find out who those people are early on in your journey, just because they're obviously people that you don't really need in your life if they can't support what you're passionate about and what you're trying to do. So there's a lot of things that keep me motivated, but the main thing that keeps me motivated is just my goals. It's that itch of wanting to see what I'm capable of doing and how much better I can be in terms of my physique and just pushing my limits. And obviously, like, being a competitor, and even though I don't have any competitions lined up quite yet for next year, I know that I'm going to be stepping on stage. So it's another thing that plays a huge role in my motivation, because I know that what I do right now is going to reflect on stage next year, and it's going to make me look better than I did before. It's just constantly focusing on just wanting to be the best version of myself. For eating out, I do flexible dieting, so if my friends want to go out to eat, I will just go with them. And if I'm in prep, I will get just like a chicken salad because it's the easiest thing to track in my opinion. But if I'm not prepping and I find something similar to what I want to eat on my fitness pal, then I will just log that. So for me, being sociable and eating out and all of those things have never been a struggle ever since I got into flexible dieting, just because I can honestly eat whatever I want basically. So if I really want to just go out to eat, I can use my fitness pal and try to estimate what I'm eating so I can still stay on track and spend some time with my friends. My favorite macro-friendly meal would have to be puffed wheat cereal. Actually, that's not a hard question at all. And my favorite cheat meal, buffets. That's my favorite cheat meal, is like going to a buffet and then getting froyo, unless I have dessert at the buffet. But buffets are everything because you get a little bit of everything that you're craving. Okay. Tips for bulking and dealing with fat gains. Like I said before, with reverse dieting, it's the best way to go about bulking because this will allow you to transition slowly into an off-season body rather than just going from like stage lean to off-season if you bump up your calories too quickly. So just doing it so it's not overnight will definitely help you a lot. And another thing that I've mentioned in a lot of my videos is just focusing on the positive things that come with bulking, like the fact that you get to eat more food, the fact that you have more strength, the fact that you have more energy, you can do a lot more things, you can be more flexible, and focusing on a lot more than your physique is really going to help you accept the fact that you're not the leanest anymore. When I have a low body fat, I do not get my period. I actually still haven't gotten my period back. I usually lose my period when I'm at around like 126 pounds, which is still high body fat for me, but it's just the way that my body works, I guess. So even before I get to a very lean point, I lose my period. So that's just the way that my genetics work. Next one. I definitely think it's possible to get sponsored by any supplement company if you live outside of North America, just because companies don't try to reach just one country. Like, they want to reach the world and make their brand as big as it can be, because fitness is something that's global. It's not just in one country, right? So if you have a really good presence in the sport and social media, and you have a really good reach, and you can bring some value to the company and show them that you can help their brand grow as they help you grow as an athlete, then I definitely think it's 100% possible. So I don't have any other job besides online coaching. Like, this is my full-time job. I didn't go to university either. I'm a high school graduate, and I took 2 courses for my nutrition and personal training so I could become certified and start helping other people with their fitness goals. The courses that I took were precision nutrition and the ISSA personal training course. What educational background do you have since you advise others? Just answer that question. So I basically already answered that with the reverse dieting advice. I do think it's a really good idea to track your macros when you're bulking, just because it's a really good way to monitor your progress and make it as consistent as possible and avoid unnecessary fat gain. You can't really plan anything. You don't know how your body's gonna respond. Every single prep is different. Every single reverse diet is different. So the way that I did everything when I was coaching myself, just basically seeing how my body was responding to everything. Obviously, knowing what decisions you need to make is crucial and important, because you don't want to just make changes to make changes. The fact that I took time to really learn my body and just pay close attention to everything that I was doing gave me a good understanding of what I needed to change. And obviously, knowing nutrition as well helps a lot, because I know what results I can get from changing certain certain things in my training or my nutrition. So that's basically how I did my coaching. Is just trial and error was a big part of it, but also knowing what needed to be changed and when it needed to be changed. And as for making the decisions, you just really have to trust yourself, pay close attention to how your body responds, and just be very realistic with yourself. And it doesn't hurt sometimes to have a second opinion. So if you have any friends that are coaches or other competitors, just to have someone there to be kind of like a second eye for you. You prefer sweet or savory? Sweet 150%. Like if it was up to me, I would just eat chicken and salad and all the desserts. I love sweets. Do I like animals? I like animals, yes. I'm not like a crazy animal person, but I do want a dog really, really, really bad. But I just can't do it because I'm not home ever, and it's just not realistic. But I love animals, they're cute. What is your workout split? How long do your workouts usually take you? My workout split is, my back is hurting. I'm getting old. 21 and I'm feeling it. I have 2 upper body workouts and I have 2 lower body workouts, and my lower body workouts usually take me around an hour and a half, and then my upper body workouts usually take me about an hour, I would say. Was it difficult to coach yourself? What are some tips to stay objective when you're self-coaching? It definitely wasn't the easiest thing I've done. I can say that 100%, just because we're very hard on ourselves. We don't see ourselves the way that everyone else sees us. So in that sense, it's really difficult, because even if you look really good, you might still think you don't, just because that's how we are with ourselves. So like I said before, in the previous question that I answered in regards to coaching myself, it's good to have a second eye. It's really good to just have like that second opinion and keeping track of your progress, doing pictures, measurements, keeping track of your weight, because that way you can compare and actually put things into perspective when you see how things are moving. My question for the Q&A is, how much should someone work out to get in shape and lose weight but not compete? I know it's different for everyone, but could you just give us an average, like maybe how many calories should a female burn working out? So I would recommend just starting off with the basics, going to the gym a few times a week, like 3 to 5 times a week, doing some cardio a few times a week as well, just doing around 45 minutes of weights, making sure that you're hitting every single muscle in your body, and then doing some cardio just to get moving and increase your calorie burn, and then obviously watching your diet and just being more mindful of what you're putting into your body. I'm not going to give any numbers because I just don't think it's really necessary. As long as you're being mindful with your diet and you are going to the gym regularly and just being active, you should see progress. If you do change your habits, I promise you that you will progress. I don't think they're necessary at all. I think they can definitely help and improve your performance in the gym. More than anything, what they do is they give you an energy boost, and if you have more energy to work out in the gym, the chances are that you're gonna be doing a lot more than you normally do, which will end up in a higher calorie burn. So that's the way that most fat burners work. They also have other components that will help your body become more thermogenic, but it's not something that it's necessary. So reverse dieting is bulking to me, because that's where I'm trying to put on body fat. So I don't really call it bulking, I guess I call it reverse dieting. I've gone through a strict diet obsession with food as well, and even if it's better now, I don't really know whether it's over or it's still there. Do you think it really goes away? Because in the fitness lifestyle, it's sometimes difficult to know if you're really being that strict because you or your body needs it, or if it's actually something more psychological. So I think that's like something you would almost have to just sit down and reflect on yourself, because I don't really think it's something that someone else can give you the answer to, because you're the only person that knows how you're feeling. So I hope that was helpful, but it's a pretty hard question to answer. The meaning of my tattoo. So this tattoo here says, free your mind. That's all. And I love the fact that it says free your mind, because I'm a very free-spirited and open-minded person. If you just like Google bikini fitness and whatever question you have, you will find a lot of information on it. There's a lot of girls who have taken time to make like competition day lists, things that you need to do in order to prepare for show day. I have done that before on my channel. I have previous videos where I go over the stuff that I do before show day, what I bring on show day, and there's a lot of people on YouTube as well who have a lot of videos going over things that some competitors need to know, over federations and things like that. So I think if you just Google or YouTube whatever question you have in regards to bikini fitness, you'll be able to find the answer with no problem. What kind of split do you follow? What would you recommend for someone who's training 4 times a week, 2 lower body days and 2 upper body? Currently I'm doing my upper body days, shoulders, back and chest all separately. Any advice? So I already answered the split that I follow. I do 2 upper body, 2 lower body. If you only have 4 days to work out a week, I would definitely recommend doing 2 upper body and 2 lower body, just because this way you can make sure that you hit all muscle groups 2 times a week. My question is, do you coach competitors at a national level? Yes, I do. You say you have learned a lot about yourself lately. I was wondering, what is the most surprising thing you have learned about yourself? How comfortable I am with being alone. It's my first time being completely single, not seeing anybody, just being by myself. And with all the traveling that I've done, I've just learned that I am so comfortable on my own and that I really enjoy my own company. So it's been really cool to learn that, because it just makes me happy to know that I don't need someone else in my life to be happy. If there's one piece of advice you could give anybody in regards to following their dreams, goals in life, what would that be? So I'm gonna be really cliche and I'm gonna say, don't ever give up. That's probably the most important thing. Other than that, I also think it's really important to never just sit there and wait for the right moment, because there really is no such thing as the right moment or the right time. Just take your vision, take your goal, and just take that first step and see where things go from there. Obviously, having a plan is super important, but even if you don't have a plan, just get going. You might make mistakes, you might fail, but you know what they say, as long as you don't give up and you learn from it, it's not a failure, it's just a lesson. How much weight did you aim to gain per week or per month while bulking? I already answered that. Do you ever get any hate for using IFIM? And when you hear people say things like diet soda gives you cancer, or I can't eat sugar, it all goes to my stomach, or other stupid myths, do you keep quiet or educate them? What's better, food in Canada or food in the US? I don't ever get hate for using IFIM. People make jokes about it, but it's not like truthful hate. I think it'd be silly for someone to hate on IFIM when they've seen what I've been able to accomplish in terms of fat loss using this method. And when I hear people say that, it depends on how much time I have. If I have a lot of time, I'll definitely try to help and give them some advice. Food in the US is way better, 100%. Oh my god, this is so long. I'm dying. What is the cost of competing? And if I were thinking about competing, what advice would you have? I already shared some advice on competing, but the cost of competing is, it's very expensive. To buy a suit, you have to pay for tanning, you have to pay for your makeup. Unless you know how to do that, then you can do it yourself, but if you don't, then you have to pay for that. For your hair, hotel, traveling fees if you have to travel out of the country or out of the city. You also have to pay for like a membership for whatever federation you're wanting to compete in, and then you also have to pay for show fees as well. You also need your jewelry, you need competition heels, also you have to pay for a coach, so it's very expensive. I don't know exactly how much it costs, but it's definitely quite a bit, so I would highly recommend making sure that you're financially stable before you begin competing, because it can get really expensive. What will you be concentrating on during this off season? So my main goal this off season is building my hamstrings and my glutes. What was the feedback of the judges? So I got feedback from 2 judges. One judge literally said, keep doing what you're doing. So I was like, okay, don't know what that means, but okay. And the other judge said that I basically just need to bring up my lower body, which is what I'm really focusing on this off season. Did you talk about your approach to cardio during your prep? Did you do HIIT or LIST? What was your targeted heart rate for those 2 styles? Already answered that one. I think it's great how you coach yourself. I'm trying to fiddle with that now because I can't afford a coach, but I'm so stuck on my macros and making those numbers wrong. How did you figure it out? So with my nutrition course, we have formulas that we're taught on how to figure out macronutrient intakes, but you can also use an online calculator. Obviously it's not ideal, but if you can't afford coaching, that would be the best way to do it. And then follow those numbers consistently, and then depending on how your body responds, you can make changes based on that. So if you're losing weight too fast, you can increase your macros a little bit. If you're gaining weight, then you can drop your macros a little bit. And if you're maintaining your weight and your main goal is fat loss, then you can just decrease your macros a little bit. After your bulking phases where you were in a caloric surplus, how did you decide how much to drop your calories, macros to begin your cut? Was it a percentage you used to figure out in the initial drop and cutting macros? So this year when me and Jose started my cut, a very big macro drop just to see how my body responded based on that drop. And then after that, then we decided whether we needed to increase my calories a little bit or decrease them a little bit. I think it's really important to start off with a bigger than usual drop just to see what your body does. And then from there on, you can decide whether you need to be eating more or be eating less. And I do not know how long my off season is gonna be. It all depends on my physique. If me and Jose, my coach, both feel like I'm ready to start cutting again and start getting ready for another competition. But as of right now, I don't have a set plan for how long I'm planning to be in my off season. I answered every single question. once again, thank you so much to everyone who left such kind comments and who tuned into the video, who gave it a thumbs up. I hope I did a good job at answering all your questions. I'm hoping to do more Q&As in the future, so keep an eye out for those. And another thing that I want to say thank you for is the fact that we hit 11,000 subscribers. We're like over 11,000, which is freaking crazy. So thank you so much to everyone that has came across my channel and have stuck around. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have been enjoying my content. As of right now, I am in Dubai, so trying to get as much in the live footage for you guys. I'm still a little bit backed up with my footage, so I'm still trying to get some vlogs from earlier this month out, so bear with me. I am trying. But once again, thank you so much guys for tuning back into my channel. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this Q&A, if I did a good job at answering your questions, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you enjoy my content, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you have any other questions for me, anything to tell me, make sure to leave it down below. See you guys in the next one.